Selections for video game panel. Panelists, it's all yours. I turn it over to you.
Are we passing?
Can we just like jump in? Be like, hey.
Technical issues.
Hey guys, thank you for waking up. We appreciate it. Only 11:30 at an anime con, really? Most people just went to bed. We do appreciate it. So this is the voice acting for video game panel, so I guess we should go down the line really quick. There's a lot of us. And maybe mention some of the notable video games you've worked on.
Double mic it. Hi guys, I'm Natalie Hoover. I've been in video games titles such as Danganronpa 2, So You Nevermind, Fairy Fencer F as Tiara, The Witch and the Hunter Knight as Ravens, and a few more titles coming out later this year.
Put a switch on that?
Announced today, but later this year. On to this lovely girl next photo.
My name is Erica Mendez. I'm not actually supposed to be on this panel, but I'm in video games, so I deserve to be up here, right? Anyway, oh my god. So I am Pac-Man in Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I am Aaron in Fairy Fencer F. I am Lucini in Witch and the Hundred Knight, and Atelier. I'm Miche son Musenberg in Atelier Eska and Logi. It's a lot of stuff to remember. And then some other stuff that's coming out soon this year, and I'm really excited about.
Hi, I'm Kira Buckland. I'm the voice of Marie in Skullgirls, Artemia and Bravely Default, Marvy in Hyperdimension Neptunia, Shushu in Mugen Souls, Tokyo Time and Eternity, Della and Ethel and others in Fairy Fencer F, Kyoko Sayonji in Danganronpa 2, and many others.
Hey guys, I'm Edward Bosco. You guys have probably heard me as Chip in Guilty Gear Xrd Signs, which just came out. Conra in Killer Instinct, which was a lot of fun. Aura from Dusty Elysian Tale, the Black Mage from Maple Story, and a bunch of other stuff.
Hi, I'm Kim Latran. I am the voice of Miss Fortune in Skullgirls, Fidget in Dusty Elysian Tale. Too many characters in Sticking to the Man, too many characters, like 12 of them, and 4 characters in Heroes of Newark.
Microphone passing.
Don't project your addictions on the rest of us.
I will.
Don't.
Anyway, continue.
And my name's Sarah Williams. I am Jinx in League of Legends, Peacock in Skullgirls, Uni in like almost every single Neptunia game she's in. If she's in it, I'm in it. Does sound dirty. I don't know why. It is early, I guess. Yeah. And yeah.
Okay, I'm Laura Post. I'm Ari in League of Legends. I'm Valentine in Skullgirls. I'm Laura in The Evil Within. I'm Queen Ashara and Shademaster Kieran in World of Warcraft. I'm 14 characters in Heroes of Newark. I'm R4 in Hyperdimension Neptunia. And Nox and Smite, and I feel like I'm forgetting a big one, but oh well, deal with it.
Grab the mic back from you if you think of it really quick. I'm KG Tang. I am Kenshiro Fist in North Star Kent's Rage, Suma Zhao in the Dynasty Warriors series, Jan Lee, Dead or Alive, Li Xiaolan / Violet in Tekken, Wingull in Tales of Celia, Dr. Cutter and Bravely Default, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Hello.
I'm Matt, I'm in games.
Big goodness. I'm Carrie Karanen. I've also done video games.
Hi, I'm Danielle McCray. I'm Carmen in League of Legends. I am Gar in World of Warcraft. I am Threa Hazelgrip in Atelier Eska and Logi. And other things that I can't remember right now.
I'm Taliesin Jaffe. I'm Darian Mograine in World of Warcraft, along with a bunch of other people. I'm in the Elder Scrolls Online. I'm Thancred in Final Fantasy XIV Online, Edge in Final Fantasy IV, Blanca and Aenon in Street Fighter IV, and I'm also the voice director of Oculus Strip, Street Fighter IV, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Hey, my name is Eric Scott Kimmerer. I am a voice actor in Heroes of Newark, where I play Joe Iglesias. I was Mark Evans in Eden Numa 11, which is a really cool soccer game made by Level 5. If you like Nino Kuni, that's a good one. And I was in Skullgirls as Black Egret, amongst a lot of others. Tales of Exilia 2 as well, as Cress and Marcus and a bunch of background characters.
That's us.
Yeah!
So it's Sunday, let's see some energy!
There we go, that's better.
Okay, now take it back down.
Questions times, right? Do you guys have questions about video games or stuff we've done?
Anything? Questions, video games?
You have not, I'll start asking questions.
Yeah, we'll just take questions about games we like too, I don't care.
Yeah, we
Games we
I got a question for you guys. We're all gamers up here, so I want to know what is the most emotional game you guys have ever played?
I know what it is
The
for
Walking
you
Dead.
now.
Telltale Games. Telltale Games The Walking Dead. It broke me.
Journey.
For me, it was probably Final Fantasy VII for a good reason, because there was one point where Aeris dies. And I looked really hard to find a game share code to bring her back. I couldn't find it. But yeah, that messed me up pretty good.
The first 3 minutes of Last of Us. Seriously, I broke up with someone because of that.
Wow.
The Danganronpa games will give you a lot of feels, definitely. If any of you have played Virtue's Last Reward, I had especially with all the different endings, I cried a lot with that game.
It was actually 8 for me still. I think it might be the only one that ever made me cry. And no spoilers, but at the end, where there's the scene with Laguna, I was just like, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. I just cried. And then for a year, I would listen to Eyes on Me, and I'd be like, oh. So I love 8. So that's me.
Still thinking.
I forgot about that scene, and then 12 years go by, and I end up watching it, oh, I heard the ending to 8 was cool. No time had passed, man. I'm like, oh, I remember this scene. It was awesome.
Pause, don't play. I think To the Moon broke me.
Yeah,
It
that's
broke
my answer
hard.
too.
I think up until the car scene to the end, I was pretty much constantly crying. And then I say to Eric, I was like, hey Eric, roomie, you should play this game. It's better than
Not just that. She said you should play this game alone, with nobody around, and just
Exactly.
experience it.
That's your first hit not to
It
do
is
it.
to be appreciated.
It was a very good game. It's very little on interaction, but it's a sprite game done in RPG Maker. It's just narrative woven into it so well, and you're so emotionally attached to it. It's incredible. I would highly recommend it.
And I learned that song the day after. It's all right. I learned it the next day.
As far as an emotional spectrum being put through an emotional ringer, I'm gonna have to go with Papers, Please.
Oh,
That is a game that makes you sit there and grab at your hair and go, I don't know what to do. If I don't do this, my family's gonna die because I can't afford heat. But this woman, she needs help to get across the border, because if I don't, she's gonna die. But if I get fired, if I let her through, then this is,
The one time I accidentally did not accrue enough of whatever, and I had to shoot Rex in Mass Effect.
oh.
No.
Spoilers.
Wait, you what?
The one time,
What did you do?
the one playthrough, I accidentally did not do enough of whatever I needed to do and I had to shoot Rex.
I can't believe you, KG.
KG. KG.
Rex!
Sure.
I judge you.
I had to start over.
I
had to start
judge you.
over
That's
right
messed
there.
up.
It was awful. I could do nothing to fix it. I just.
Matt, I just remember you being really disturbed. It's not emotional, but you were just very disturbed at the end of Minecraft. You find that when you try to understand. we had breakfast that morning. You hadn't gotten out of your you showed up to the diner still in slippers and the robe, kind of going, what?
yeah, because Minecraft had an end. You go all the way to the end, the outer realm.
You got to the end of Minecraft.
There's an end.
It's Matt Mercer, of course he got to the end of Minecraft.
Yeah, and you fight a big ender dragon that flies through, and it's this big battle, and at the end it just goes to the screen and scrolling text, and it's these two weird kind of alien beings discussing the meaning of existence. And it's this whole existential breakdown for like a half an hour as you read it. I'm like sitting there with like a single tear rolling down my cheek, pondering what it means to be alive. And like, what did this game do to me?
What is the meaning
You
of
were
life?
trying to build like a replica of, like, I don't even remember, like, what do people do on Minecraft? Like, build replicas of their own house. I mean, like, it's just sit and wait. They build giant dicks.
Someone actually rebuilt Serenity. Someone actually rebuilt the Firefly
Serenity entirely in Minecraft.
It's like a little scary. What would you build in Minecraft?
I would build this convention.
You would build this
Just destroy it.
a little Ricky, Matt Mercer, Kaji, and the rest of us all wandering around.
I have dolls at home for that. I don't need Minecraft.
Did you guys know this? Awkward. So next question. What is the next question?
So what point in the video games you played give you the most rage?
Rage.
Every time I play League of Legends, I play a lot of ARAM, so I'm already kind of at a disadvantage because I'm not great with all the champions. But just like, oh man, playing against like random people that think they know what they're doing and then they yell at you for doing things that, you know, you might have messed up on accidentally. It's just, oh, it's so aggravating. Oh, I can't.
So I raged the most when I was a teenager and I was playing Kingdom Hearts and Riku Hollow Bastion. Anyone have those? Yeah, it took me about 7 days to beat that SOB. And I cried and I beat him like, oh yes, that's what you get. So, yeah, I think that was the most rage ever I felt.
Lovingly, I would say the entire Dark Scrolls Demon Souls series. I love that series. And that is a rage hate love. Like punching pillows, hearing the plastic controller creak because you're afraid you might snap it, but it kind of feels so good to just have to go in half. Satisfying.
I'll say the Alice game just because I love the game, but I hate broken jumping puzzles. Broken jump puzzles are just the worst thing. Like somebody should be shot for that.
I see for me, the game I raged a lot at when I was a little kid was a Super Mario RPG. And there was a boss fight, it was called the XM Rangers. They were like, Power Rangers. I died like 50 times, like, I was so mad.
I actually kind of have a story about this. One of my favorite games for like the past 6 years has been Guilty Gear, and a new one just came out recently. And it was for PS3, and I played on an arcade stick, but my arcade stick was for 360, so I had to play on the controller, and it was just so rage-inducing trying to get through this like arcade mode on the controller. And my roommate, who doesn't really game that much, was watching me, and she was like, "Oh, what is this guy with a paper bag over his head?" And I was like, I hate him! He jumps on a stupid stick and he throws a point in it. I was just like screaming and saying a lot more things that I can't say on an All Ages panel, but... And I'm a Potemkin. There's a lot of characters I hate fighting against.
So KG especially.
You never say KG.
I have a tie between two things. Any Nuzlocke run I do in any Pokemon game will inevitably cause me to end up in tears and throw my DS across the room. And anytime I get the opportunity to pick up the original Super Mario Brothers and play it and realize that my fingers no longer have memorized the stages from when I was a little kid. Like when I was a little kid, I could literally play the first 2 stages without looking at the screen. Like that's how much. I'm serious. I could do it. Like I could, like literally. It is for me. But like that's how good I was at the game. And now, 20 years later, I'm like, oh, Mario Brothers. I'm like. I was killed by a Goomba. Then I have to lock myself away and cry for a few days.
I play World of Warcraft, and the server I play on is PvP. So I get really, really mad. Not so much when I have to PvP someone. It's like, cool, that is expected. We're out in the field, I'm eyeing you, you're eyeing me. We're like, are we gonna have a fight? I don't know. Can I take him? I don't know, because I'm an enhancement shaman, so it's like, eh. But like, I hate when it's like, I am obviously questing, I am fighting a boss, I'm leaving everyone alone, but the boss took away half my health, and then some Alliance scum comes by and is like, haha, half-life, boom, you're dead, and I'm like, ugh, that is rage-inducing. Grr. So hard not to use curse words right now.
When I was in 3rd grade,
I have Sega Genesis. I played a lot of Sonic. I was playing Sonic 3. Carnival Zone pops up. Love the Carnival Zone for the most part. It's colorful, it's fun, it's whimsical. I'm like, this is a fun stage. Yay! Then we get to the circulating barrel. They have never in the game yet put in this particular little thing, and there's nothing saying how to get past this damn barrel. I jump on it, it sort of hovers and back and forth, but it's not enough to get down the hole I need to go. How do I get this damn thing to go down? I literally spent, I think, 2 weeks playing to that stage, crying my eyes out, with my mother in the other room going, Sarah, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine! Finally, go to the stupid Blockbuster in town, find a strategy guide and realize all I had to do was press up and down to make it go. I think recently the one I raged to was I was playing Crooked Man, and I love my RPG horror games, and I was playing Crooked Man, and the second boss battle was infuriating because he speeds up, and it's not a system made, that's not a game made for actual combat, and I poke him, and I was like screaming. I started screaming at my laptop. Thank God I was alone. Yeah. And, I would say raging, but I play a lot of Binding of Isaac lately. And it's heartbreaking, utterly heartbreaking, to have this wonderful arsenal of stuff. It's like, I got quad tears. I got a 10% chance of poison. I got piercing tears as well, so everything is going through and giving me more damage. I got 2 familiars spitting out stuff, everything. I've got an arsenal, an army. I am a walking little naked boy of death. And then I die because I didn't do things right.
You know, kind of going back to Sonic, I just got Sonic Spitball flashbacks. I still can't, like, go past the first stage now. It's awful.
Only because I just recently finished it and it drove me crazy. I love everything BioWare does, whether it's KOTOR, Jade Empire, Mass Effect, but the original Dragon Age. I've done 70 to 80 hours into the first game and the expansions. But it is some of the glitchiest, most annoying things in the world because number one, they don't auto-save you when you go into new areas or stuff like that. So if you happen to forget to save 2 hours into the thing and you die, you get to go back to wherever you last saved. No. Also, if you do certain quests in a certain order, they lock up, so you can't go back and do them. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna save this for later. Oh wait, no you can't because you just did this. You can't get back here and activate the dialogue. That would have been nice to know like 3 hours ago, thanks. That drives me nuts.
For me, Final Fantasy XII. Simply because I am a completionist, and that was the most bullshit stuff they had to pull to get the ultimate weapons. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't open the chests in the... No, 12. No, 12. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't pick up a bullcrap chest in the beginning of the game in the right order. Oh, this ultimate weapon is locked up forever. I am a completionist. I love getting all the flags in Assassin's Creed. And
they like selling you a strategy guide.
They like selling you a strategy guide for that crap. You shouldn't have to have a strategy guide to play a game.
You shouldn't have to have it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with this game. This game is Animal Crossing. Not for the reasons you expect. Now, you see, I'm a completionist like Eric, and the thing is that in my case, the thing is most of you probably stopped playing after your first year. Me, I just kept playing for months on end because I wanted to get all the pictures of the animals in my village, just to show that they love me. Now, I was in this purgatory of giving them all the rare beetles from the island every single day. I was giving them fish. I was giving them everything rare I got my hands on and bought with my hard-earned bells. And it just wouldn't return my love because I was all stage coming trying to get their goddamn pictures. Oh shit, I'm a fuck.
It's okay, it's Sunday. You did not hear that.
I think we need to move on to a new question.
Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, for me, it's Pong. I get rage when I get Pong.
You got to the end, right?
Huh?
You got to the end.
No, you don't understand. My family, when I first went to Japan, my family actually splurged and got that 1-unit console that had 2 games, Pong and Tank. And I've always wanted to play it. I go back now, no one wants to play with me because, Uncle, that's so, just play this. No, I want to play Pong. That's why I get mad. Anyway, so, that's my rage. No one wants to play Pong. I never got to the end, by the way. Your question.
What is your favorite game on Kinect?
And that.
Dance Central's the best.
My favorite game is I don't have one on the Connect.
Dance Central's awesome.
Star Wars Connect because it has Star Wars Dance, which is Dance Central with Star Wars characters. So, boom. Han Solo dancing in Dance Central in the Star Wars Connect game.
No.
My favorite game is playing any other game than a Connect game, I think would be.
I concur. I'm just gonna play that demon
Keep
box.
going with my life.
I'm not gonna play that demon box. Hell no. I play to relax, not to flail. That's why I played Twilight Princess on the GameCube instead of the Wii.
Okay, we're gonna run through some questions, more questions. Hang on.
What's the weirdest game you've ever had to play or voice act? Just like the weirdest thing.
Dallas, I'm sure you got like 9.
I'm trying to remember the name.
Any JRPG.
Is it Jake Cocoon too? No. There was like a weird Miyazaki-ish game, and I'm trying to remember it.
That was actually a decent game, I think.
Yeah, no, they let us do they let me do Ed Wynn, and that made me happy. No game ever lets you do Ed Wynn, so. There was a game, I want to say it was Jake Cocoon too. They let me do this voice for a villain, it was really lovely. Yes! There was a big bird villain, it was really fun.
I want to say it was Jake Cocoon. It was like PCB back when you were in Orange County. It was so long. Oh, okay.
They just finished Spriggan, it was a long time ago.
I played the lead in a game called Mugen Souls, and part of the game had to be censored in America, which kind of already gives you an idea. But the character does something called Moe kills, and you have to figure out what your enemy's fetish is, and she transforms herself with the things she says and how she looks. So that was really interesting. And just some of the lines were hilarious.
Next question, Lane, or, okay. We got a lot of questions. All right.
What's your favorite game or anime or whatever that you've had your voice act for?
Oh, sorry, go finish the word game. Sorry, my fault. Your game.
I have Stretch Panic on the PS2. That game's weird. Apparently it was just a physics engine tryout where everything is super stretchy and she has a sentient scarf that won't let her go. And it reaches out, it can grab things, it can stretch the walls, it can stretch people, it can stretch monsters. It stretches everything. And everything is a glorified boss battle because her sister's got possessed by demons and you have to go save them with her stretch powers, but they're all very weird and strange. Also Void on the PC, that's a very odd game. Very beautiful game. One I still can't figure out because it's something about how you're like dead or something, or you're a spirit, and then there's these like half-naked chicks being like, bring me color, bring me color. And so you legitimately go and find these little color ducks and you bring them color. And you have to manage your color resources and you have to grow new color too because otherwise you can't get new color because once you run out. So you go grab and you give them color and they're so happy about getting color. And there's lots of ladies to do this to. And then their brothers come in. Their brothers are Silent Hill mashed up with H.R. Geiger. They're creepy. And they come and steal your color. And that's when the game gets hard. It's weird.
It's a little weird. There's a game I did for a really dear friend of mine and a director that I enjoy working with called The Howard Strip. Which involved, I guess, vampires that lived in Japan. In order to defeat them, you had to beat them up till their clothes fell off so the sun would get to them and disintegrate them. Yeah. Yeah. You had to beat them up till their clothes fell off so that they would disintegrate from the sun. These vampires. Well, I took a picture of it. It's still one of my favorite. I mean, like the directions we had to do is we were doing voice patterns for those NPCs. We had to do like being tickled and then tickling someone. So like a full minute of going. And then a full minute of like, no, stop, please, and I just stare at him through the glass afterward. But yeah, it's so much awkward in that game. I know, but it still has my favorite direction I've seen in the script. I took a picture of it where there was no words. It was just like dots. And the direction was bad humored cat punch with a bad tone of voice. Bad humored cat punch with a bad tone of voice. That's what I said. And Townsend just went, I don't, and so I went, he went, great, moving on, we're done. Oscar.
ribbon of that next year. Anyone else? Sorry, I'm just they brought me into this. Okay, one more.
This is how I'm gonna greet Matt Mercer for the rest of my life.
It's the secret voice of.
That is it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, maybe next year. Cat lunch.
What's your favorite game or anime or whatever that you've had to do voice for?
Favorite game you play or favorite game you voice for?
Probably mine is Annie in Red Dead Revolver. I just loved her.
I can't talk about this one, but it's awesome because.
Nice.
Nice.
Just because I'm a nerd, I got to play Wally West, The Flash, in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, and that just like that just automatically becomes the favorite. Just because of what
I'm gonna piggyback on that. I got to play 3 of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I got to play Star-Lord, Groot, and Drax. Thanks to that, man. It was freaking awesome. Oh yeah, and then whatever. I can't. I have no shame.
I'd say probably, since I was a fan of the series and the character for so long, stepping into the shoes of Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil was huge for me. Both from like a fan standpoint and realizing, oh, I have to deliver. There's a whole internet of gamers out there just waiting to tear me apart if I mess this up. So that was fun. No pressure. But it was a really fun project and I love that character, so.
I have a tie again. It's either between Owain from Fire Emblem Awakening, just because he's so fantastic, and likes to call out his attacks, and this character named Wingull from Tales of Xillia. It's Wingull, mostly just because his character story in the game is so stupidly tragic, and nothing good ever happens to him. It's kind of beautiful in a really depressing way. It's one of those things. And even in the sequel, it's oh, well, there's these parallel dimensions. I'm sure there's one where he's happy on a beach somewhere with an umbrella. And no. He dies horribly never once.
Well, not so much because it's my favorite character ever, because I could never pick a favorite character, but probably being Queen Ajara in World of Warcraft, because I played World of Warcraft, so I was yeah, I'm gonna be in it, and then I could go kill myself, except you don't actually kill Ajara. She's ha ha ha, I'm going to get away, bye bye, and it's or a post. But I was super just excited to go to that session, and then it was really awesome being there, because the day that I went to record that session was also a day they were recording Futurama, so I was hi Futurama guys, over there, you're really cool. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
I don't know, it's not a very popular game, but I adored playing Natalia in Witch in the Under Night. I loved her so much, because and I've never seen, this is one of the few times of those who did play it, how many conversations sparked off on just how horrible a character they thought she was, in just terms of how evil she was. Though I maintain she wasn't really evil. Oh yeah, I never had a script that was basically just asterisks, percentage sign, other stuff above the numbers on the keyboard, and was what is this? It's oh, make up your own curses. Oh, I said things. I said things at one point made the director just be I worry about you, Sarah. Thanks!
To be fair, I've worried about you for years.
Yeah, I loved her to death. Yeah!
Go for the stereo.
Let's see. My favorite character to voice was Bidget, because she was very meaty with lots of character development. And as for another game that was just too much fun to work for was probably Stick It to the Man, because I got to be 12 different characters. And the thing is, this game was a comedic game, so that means every single character I voiced had to be a punchline, so to speak. So I had to be a very funny ghost, I had to be a very funny dog, I had to be a very funny dog that was shaped like a heart, I had to be a meatus for a guy, so on and so forth. What? No, in the game, the thing is that you have a little hand that grabs things, it dress stickers and put them onto other people and become other things. So I was inside of a lady's belly, and I was like, yeah, the fetus, I'm happy. And what you can do is you can take the fetus, put it into a guy's belly, and then they're not happy because it's terrible.
I don't think I've seen this look on the entire cast in one shot.
Pick
Congratulations.
it up. It's a really cool game. You should pick it up. It's on the PS4 and is it on Steam? You do. I put it there.
Stop thinking so loud.
Are you gonna go?
I had one fairly recently. Unfortunately, I can't talk about that one yet, but I just got to play a really, really crazy psychotic character. I just got to go as big as I wanted, and those were the most fun. Also, it was really cool being in franchises that I was already familiar with. Because a lot of times you go in, you don't really know anything about what you're recording for, but I was really, really excited to be in the Danganronpa franchise and to get to play a couple side characters in Tales of Xillia too. Those were pretty exciting.
I got to be a magical girl pop idol for a project pretty recently, and I was really excited about that because I've been playing a lot of Love Live School Idol Festival. So that was fun for me.
My choice is short, sweet, and simple. It was New Nevermind and Danganronpa 2, but I also have another one I can announce until later this year. Boom. Yeah. Short, sweet, simple.
It's easy for me to say Ryuji from Toradora is my favorite anime role, but since it's a video game, most of my video game sessions have been quick, so the one that really stood out was probably Dragon's Nest, where I pulled an accent right out of my ass.
Oh my god, I remember you auditioning for that.
I auditioned
I was
for
there, I
that.
was like, I don't know what you just did, but yes.
He was my roommate at that, and I got a list of characters to audition for, and one of them was a Spanish character. I've never tried a Spanish accent in my life, even before this. So I just pulled out this bull crap. Antonio Banderas type of Spanish accent. Yes.
You killed my father.
What accent? It was something like this. It was. You will remind me of a. Yes, it was a really bold. It sucks. It sucks so bad. But they cast me on it. I don't know. They're enabling a really bad habit of that. Yeah. And then I got a really low voice character, which I never get to, like a really grunty kind of. My first video game role, and I got two things I never would have expected.
I love, off-casting is always the best.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Question, go for it.
All right, what's your favorite game to play whenever you're stressed out?
What's your favorite game to play when you're stressed out?
I have two. I love playing Child of Light. The soundtrack to that is amazing. If you don't know what it is, play it. And then Final Fantasy IX.
Tokyo Jungle.
Yes, I was gonna say that too.
Although it is stressful in itself, I guess.
When you get to make cute little babies and they like come out the next day.
Love Live. I love Live.
I was also going to say Love Live, but they kind of beat me to it. So Love Live and Pokemon.
Animal Crossing.
That says something like
Let's go, go, go. We get scared.
I found that Dead Space is insanely relaxing. It's only funny for the first, it's only scary for the first 5 minutes, and it's like, yeah, I get it, you have an orchestra, yeah, you're there, you're scary, whatever. No, but the combat is so much fun, and once you're overpowered enough, and just like, arms off, legs off, look at you crawling on the ground, that's so adorable, bam, head. That's so nice. Special delivery.
There's something seriously wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with you.
That's relaxing.
No,
That's
that's
relaxing
weird.
for her.
Okay, probably for me, Sims 2. I don't like 3. I haven't tried 4, but Sims 2, good old classic, or Banished. Banished is so relaxing. You're just like, yes. Fast forward, and then you're just like, yes, farm all the farmers. Okay, now it is winter. Now go and sew clothing, make my town bigger. Bigger, and I just like sit. The worst part though is because I'll be like, I'll just play for like 45 minutes. 4 hours later, oh crap, I gotta go do things and live a life like a human and not watch these little people run up and down these paths and like yeah, the music's like super chill and I just gone.
Yeah, see, all my people starved to death, so it's not a very relaxing game, you know. I'm a very bad governor or whoever you're supposed to be playing. Crap. I wanted to, like, invite some nomads into my town. It's empty. I wanted to invite some nomads because they were cold and starving. I'm like, oh no, 35 people, that's fine. Everyone starved to death. Everyone died. It was awful. The children died more.
Yeah.
That's how relaxing it is. Yeah. Anyway, I like to go through, I also play World of Warcraft. I like to solo bowl like 25-man heroic content because it's very relaxing to just go through like Icecrown Citadel and like kill the Lich King that was meant to be on 25-man heroic just by yourself. And he's like talking all that good crap to you. He's like, I'm going to take your soul. I'm like, yeah, it's, waiting for your transmog drops, buddy. If you could just wrap it up really quick. Okay.
I'll jump in just while he takes the mic. Any first like Halo, Gears of War, any of that stuff when I'm stressed out, because when I get really frustrated, I just want to kill things, but I can't actually kill things. So if I can do that in a video game, it's great. So anything that I can kill stuff in is fantastic. Oh, I'm very violent, but this is how I harness it. No, I'm not saying it's not wrong.
True. It's partially the music and partially I have a deep-seated neurotic need to be perpetually leveling something. You know, just like have experience gained and levels acquired and skill points to distribute and statistics to increase and equipment to create and you know, like the Elder Scrolls series. Because just the music is so wonderful and even like the intense battle situations, it's still kind of like grooving, you know, fantasy fight music. I don't know, there's something about that that's so fluid and so calming to me.
I just love Spyro the Dragon. I just think he's so adorable. I love making him run. I like when he puts his head down and he runs, and then he's like walking and like runs, and I make him just run and walk. But my favorite board is when he's on the skateboard. It's like the side one when he's on the skateboard. He has to go up all the ramps and catch up, like things like I just like skating around.
I'm gonna go. This is cute though. He's like, oh, hardcore.
Hardcore.
I'm just gonna say Tokyo Jungle because so many fluffies. Your babies just come out in a day, and you kill, and you eat, and you make babies, and the cycle continues.
All right. Yeah, okay.
It's like real life.
Right there. I only play pretty much one game at a time, which is, so I'm very, very slow at it, and I like to laugh. And so right now, I really do find the Borderlands 2 like, really relaxing. And it's just, I sit and I shoot things and I giggle.
Thank you.
Simultaneously, the most frustrating and what I like to relax with is League of Legends. I mean, it's such a tactical game, so when you are able to succeed in it, it gives you that endorphin rush. I hate playing with strangers, but it is. But when I get frustrated with that, and when I need something else to relax, I go to either Journey or play it. Journey, Entwined on the PS4, play it. And I'm gonna, now that we've been talking about this, I used to do this and I should do it again. Wind Waker. I just loved sailing around with Wind Waker. I found that really relaxing.
Good. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay, answer question.
All right, so what game or stage of the game that made you feel like on top of the world after you put in?
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I get to the end of that, felt good.
My brother deleted my files, so I never felt that joy.
The first Dragon Age, because I had dumped 80 hours into it, so it felt good to finally kill the archdemon. Joke.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
You can never beat that game.
Well, I mean, of course it's Animal Crossing. I own everybody in that town.
Oh, I'm going to say the Lunar series, because I beat both of them and I was really happy when I did. So that felt pretty ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I played a lot of Binding of Isaac, so there's this really wonderful satisfaction when you get a really good combo of items and you're just like this awesome arsenal, just like, oh yeah, I feel good about this. I'm gonna get to Isaac, I'm gonna beat him, this is gonna be good, this is gonna be good. But recently, and actually you were in the room for this, Eric, and you gave me the funniest look when it happened, so that's why I remember it. I played Condemned 2, and I was in the museum level, and I came up against that last boss who's like all decked out in armor, and it's really hard to hit him, and I'm like running around like a chicken with its head cut off, and I'm like, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And I finally figure out, the crossbows pierce his armor, oh yeah! And I was like, doing it, and it was, and I did it the first run, and he fell down on his knees, and I had his axe, and I raised that thing, I was like, eat, shit, and die!
Usually I'm always huddled in the corner of the living room whenever he's playing video games. It's like scary sight.
And I just look at Eric, and he's like, it's like, what?
I kind of want to see Kimlin and Sarah do Let's Plays.
That's terrifying.
It was also satisfying.
Voiceover thug like Kimlin and Sarah.
Management gaming.
Gone right.
I legit start to feel like I'm tapping out. Because I'm just gonna say World of Warcraft again. Whenever you're doing you're with a group of friends and you're like throwing yourselves against this boss, like the one we did the other day where we were like, no, we might have died 10 times, but this is the time we're going to win. And when you finally win, it was
On our server, we had just geared up for Heroics, because we all play on separate servers. So we're like, no, let's get together and actually play and run dungeons. So we were at, does anyone play WoW so you're not completely alienated to what we're talking about? Okay,
Nerd.
Deal with it, nerd. Join up, you can get a free 90. We were running Brimdale Depot. No, it wasn't Brimdale Depot, it was,
I love that you asked if anyone knew, like, reference,
with
and
Ner'zhul.
then no one raised their
We're
hand.
fighting
You're like,
Ner'zhul.
"Oh, we don't care."
And we were trying to mark the skeletons and DPS them as quickly as possible. But we were new to Heroics on that server, and we're like, okay, 11th time. This is the time. Number 11 is the magic number. I think it was 12. 12 was the magic number. But afterwards, we're like, oh! Yeah, it was one of those.
That was really good.
KG, Final Fantasy XIV and the Bees, exact same thing.
Oh no!
Bees!
Those goddamn
I'm so glad they nerfed those.
It's either in original vanilla WoW, finishing Molten Core for the very first time. Yes. Or Magnus, leave me alone. Or in the original EverQuest, all those eons ago, and hitting max level for the first time, and then them releasing an expansion pack the very next week, erasing your accomplishment from the map, and it's like level more. That's a good joy. I know.
For me, I'm gonna have to go Final Fantasy VI a little earlier, because still the best villain of the entire franchise, Kefka, who step by step just proves to be a terrible human being, poisons all of Cyan's family and kingdom, ruins the world from a high, just pushing aside these giant stone columns of balance and like tearing asunder the entire planet. And you finally get up there. Celeste almost kills herself throwing herself on the top. It's such an intensely emotional game, especially for a 60-bit RPG. Serious testament to that title. But you finally get to that final battle, and you get that giant tower of mutation Kefka form to his angelic form, and you beat him down, and you watch him slowly shake away into dust, and you just stand looming over your television set. As if for me as a kid at the time, you just go, this is what it feels like to be a hero.
Who else, ready?
That's how I functioning adults. I swear.
Is this the new fist bump? Okay, you guys ready? Who else? Anyone else? Ready?
Kind of the same vein, but the two games both in the same area. Shadow of the Colossus, because you feel it. You feel it when you're climbing those things and slaying those giant bastards. And the music, oh my god. And the second one, which is kind of the same theme, Monster Hunter. It's kind of the same. You team up with people, you build this arsenal, you go out and you slay these giant dragons, and you feel like a badass when you do it.
Are you ready? Good.
Oh, is it on PlayStation Network? Does anybody know? Shadow of the Colossus? Yeah.
New question.
Go ahead.
If you could steal the role of any other character from any other game, who would it be and why?
Aside from, for work or in real life? I don't understand.
For
I assume.
Either one?
I don't understand that question. What do you mean
Like,
for
do I get to
real
be
life?
this person in real life, or do I just get to like be them and then like,
Like
oh no,
literally
no,
to be the
for
new
work,
character
for work.
in the world.
So like if we could play another character, you're saying?
Yes, if you could voice another character. in the
That's
game.
already been done, okay.
Yeah.
And now we've.
Okay, yeah, I have to preface this with, if we answer, it's not because we don't like what they did, we're just like, that's a really cool character. 'Cause people get hired for a reason, they're really good. You got one?
I got one. It's not even out yet. It's anybody played PT on the PS4?
Woo! Scared the crap out of me.
The playable trailer for the Silent Hills game. I love the performance of the radio announcer on that, just how hammy and creepy he could be, and I really would love to do something like that. I'm hugely into Silent Hill, and I'm excited for the Guillermo del Toro, Hideo Kojima mashup with Norman Reedus. It's blowing my mind already.
I would have to go with the Mass Effect series, and I would love to play Garrus, because Garrus is amazing. He's such a cool nerd, which you never really equate those two all the time. Well, I guess Mercer kind of counts. He's a cool nerd. But like, he has this way of being awkwardly adorable when he's like in relationships and stuff, like if you play Time Chef. But then he's just an awesome, he's Batman. He's Space Batman. Like, he's so cool. And I'd love to play him.
I really like Jessica from Lunar Silver Star Story, so I'd probably be Jessica.
I'd want to be Luna from Luna. If you guys know what that is, you guys need to know what it is. It's great. It's a great game. Oh, so good. Luna, yeah.
I'd be Jerry from Street Fighter. I love what her original actress did. I just think that would be like a super cool character to play, and she's also based off a character from another favorite series of mine.
Yeah, great.
Animal Crossing?
Coffee, we need more coffee.
I don't know. I don't really, usually once it's voiced, I sort of gone in my mind, so I don't really tend to think of it. I tend to think of stuff that isn't voiced that I want to do. Okay.
Whoa. Whoa! Hey!
What was this in the 18 plus panel?
I think you'd make a really good Harley Quinn.
I can't think that lofty right now. It's beyond my brain capacity to even contemplate. What?
Sarah, give us a Mr. J.
Thanks, Mr. J. Don't you want to grab your Harley?
That was dirty for that cartoon.
Yes, it was.
But okay, let me just, I'm gonna default to something. Fudge. I like to play Goofy from Final Fantasy VII. Now that they're giving her voice, I just always liked her. And I didn't hate her for stealing my materia.
It's always going to come back to Barbara Gordon, so I'd probably want to be Oracle in the Batman Arkham Blank games, like all of the series by Kimberly Brooks' story, but I would die to be her, period.
I thought Tychus from the new StarCraft series was really fun character. I would have really liked to voice him. Though Neil did an amazing job, And I just, it hasn't been done yet, but how cool would it be to be like, the first voiced Pokemon trainer in like any new Pokemon game? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, they finally release a Pokemon game where they're voiced. They're like, that's me, it's red. It's canon.
That's canon. There's a lot of good characters out there. The one that still sticks to me though, and George Newbern did an amazing job as his character. I hadn't quite gotten the industry when they first cast this character, so I'm a little bit into that now. But if the opportunity ever came to take over for the role of Sephiroth, I would be all about that. Just saying.
Okay. I love the hell out of Jennifer Hale. I love her. But I'd have to go with female Shepard from Mass Effect. Love her so much. Just so I can say, I can go. I should go.
I'll say this is actually a character I don't think they've done, which is they haven't done Jarvis Tetch in any of the Arkham games. I'd love to be an Arkham Mad Hatter. No. Actually, well, Roddy McDowell was one who did it in the animated series, and I would kind of do like an entirely dark take on that. Would be so much fun, and just, yeah. That's not how we are supposed to have our tea. And it would just be so loud and like, it would just be great. It's like smashing people with giant mallets. I love it.
I already went with just one more. I would do Link from The Legend of Zelda. Never gonna happen, but I would love to, but the 80s cartoon killed it forever, sadly.
I just thought also, because we quote this all the time, like not that I think I could ever do it or ever feasibly be cast, but since I played Portal 2, I love GLaDOS. We love to quote, we're quoting, we talk in quotes half the time, you know, just that whole thing where you find, like, Sticky Pat, oh, it's you. How have you been? I've been real busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me. Like, oh my God, I love her so much. Question.
No, does Tony the Tiger count? No, never mind. All right, question.
From the games that you played, what are your guilty pleasures?
For the games that we've played, what are our...
These are tax deductions. I don't have any guilty.
Our guilty pleasures.
Games that you don't know about, like they're weird or...
It's $20 on PlayStation Network that I'm writing off.
Back to Sims 2.
Disney.
Games that...
My guilty pleasure is Tetris.
Soccer.
A whole lot of Otome games, all those dating sims for girls.
I've been playing a lot of Tsum Tsum on my phone.
Sports games in general, because I always get like, they're not real games, but like Madden and NBA 2K and NBA Jam and stuff like that, I'm all about, but I'll be shunned up here for it.
I'll make you feel better by saying wrestling games. Yes, all about that. There should be more games where you smack people over the head with a metal chair.
I feel like wild human game hunting, but that's not the same. We don't need football.
I'm gonna go with Katamari Forever.
That's a good one.
I like playing Winter Bells. It's about a bunny jumping on bells, and if you die, it goes, "Pew," but it doesn't die. It's just like, oh, I'm so happy. Winter Bells is fun.
Is that like robot unicorn kind of vibe?
Kind of, but it's like on the computer, you have to use your mouse. You have to literally use your mouse. Oh, is it? I don't know, maybe. Oh, Jerry played that. No.
Mine's kind of game session. It's a recent discovery, but the pet battling system in World of Warcraft. Yeah! When I first came out, I was like, this is the latest thing in the world. It's like a half-assed Pokemon. And I'm not great. Cut to recently, I've got like 18 level 25 pets, and I've got my fully upgraded menagerie in my garrison, and every day I go and do the daily quests, and we're trying to get all the achievements. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'll be in a pet battle, my girlfriend will be like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just turning in quests. Mission, like exit out of the battle, only run off to the side so she doesn't know that I've been like battling ice bunnies for the past half hour.
If we're talking about gameception, I also like poker. I was playing poker and Tales of the Abyss.
Or Blitzball in FF10. Like that was, I was obsessed with Blitzball. It was so hard. No, just 10. Just 10.
I'm obsessed with the Final Fantasy IX jump rope game. I love whole combo with that.
This one's kind of shameful. Has anyone ever played Princess Maker?
My niece does.
Princess Maker 2 and how they should have even more Princess Makers because Princess Maker games are the
I thought you were going into Long Live the Queen, which is one of mine. But also, as weird as this sounds in addition to Sims 2, Minesweeper? I love Minesweeper, man. It's like really fun. Yeah, it's coming out actually. They're redoing it, and it's Minesweeper 2K15. It's like 3D. You actually have to walk through the boxes. Yeah. But yeah, Minesweeper.
For one, I have this really big thing with Deadly Premonition. Just so weird. And by all definitions, is not really a very good game. It is so weird, and it is such an odd experience. It demands to be experienced. And it's so odd, it's so weird. The voice acting is weird. coughs, and it's all Twins Peachish, and there's like weird random, it's like 1 minute I'll be fighting zombies because it's technically a horror game, and the next minute I'll be doing a car race like in GTA just for points because, hey, that just unlocked a trading card that I need. Why is this in this game? I don't know. It's weird though, and my other thing is I play a lot of hidden object games. I love hidden object games to death. You can get on Big Fish Games, download them and play them for an hour for free, and considering how many they have, that's like a week straight worth of games to play, just for an hour each. To the point, I'm a snob now. It's like, that's not a good, it's like, this hidden object game is not good at all. The interface is crap, the art is crap. Why would you do it 3D? Hand draw your art, lazy son. Please? I actually forgot what I was going to say because that was funny. I actually really like the little Find Me game with like Street Pass because you can go to conventions and get all the Street Passes and play all the Find Me games. Probably one of the most underrated games that I really love that I think more people should play is called Melty Blood. It's a fighting game and it's absolutely fantastic, but it's really hard to find other people to play it because I don't think they ever actually released it over here. But we used to have an arcade with it, so I would always just go and play by myself, and it was so much fun.
Hang on, let me get the question. All right, wait. And your question is?
What is the most depressing game that you've played or anime you have watched story-wise?
Depressing like made us cry, or depressing like this is awful, why did I waste my time?
Depressing like this made you hate life.
Oh.
As in cries.
Video games?
Game or anime?
I'm gonna say that one of the films I was in, it's named Giovanni's Island. Yeah, it's like Graveyard of Fireflies, but like 1,000 times more depressing.
I actually thought Barefoot Gen was worse than Grave of the Fireflies. Like, Barefoot Gen is kind of one of those, like, Hiroshima bombing kind of things, and it's so depressing. It's a lot less pretty than Grave of the Fireflies, but it's pretty bad.
All right, so real quick, there's a conflict of interest. So I know you've got to go and do a panel. So go on into the ladies' jump. Round of applause for Tom. We're going to have a game, okay? We love you. Thank you. I think take over a seat. You're not there. No. So the panel's supposed to end at 1. Does everyone else have that schedule? I don't. You guys don't care. You guys don't care, do you? Okay, fine. All right, go back to the question. I got another one.
You guys are going to laugh at me for this, but how many of you are familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Okay. Do not read that if you are not okay with crying very hard about certain characters. How many of you watched part 2 of the anime? I won't spoil anything, but there is one certain moment with one certain character that it's like you better have like a box of tissues ready because you are going to bawl your eyes out. And I made Natalie watch it with me some time ago, and I was like, okay, this part, here, trust me, you're gonna need these. And she's like, why? And I was like, yeah.
There was a game on the PlayStation, maybe some of you have heard of it, that I got for free from my friend. I thought I would try it out, and it was the worst idea I ever made. It was called Bubsy 3D. This game is so broken, and it's like somebody was like, I'm going to build a video game, and they just decided to stop and publish it. It's just, it doesn't, you can't jump, the camera turns when you're trying to jump up to a new ledge, and I didn't get past I didn't even know what the point of the game was. You turn the game on, it doesn't tell you any instructions. There's just like stars and stuff you have to grab, and I almost threw it at the wall. The only reason I kept it is because I'm like, this is so bad, it might be worth money someday. So I kept it.
I'll raise you those and get and say now and then, here, there, and here. Because at least yours are movies, and they're over in about an hour or so. This was a series, and it was depressing, and it was horrid, and it was children going into war and having to kill each other and fight each other. Though Kristen was one of the voices, so that was kind of fun. And then in terms of games, I'll say Silent Hill 2, because that game ain't happy. That game ain't happy at all. Stairs. Why, Angela? Oh, Angela. spoil it too much. To suffice to say though, it's character, and you come across this character in a stairwell, and the whole thing is on fire. And there's like weird creepy paintings for that stairwell's on fire and stuff, and she sees you and she thinks you're one of her family members, and then she suddenly realizes you're not, and it's like crushing because she's already gone through enough as it is mentally. And you know, the other character apologizes, and she turns and starts walking up the stairs, and the fire bars the way for you to go after her, except you don't really go after her. And then the main character just goes, "It's hot as hell in here," and she looks around for a second, and she's like, "You see it too? For me, it's always like this." And I was just like,
I cried at that part. I couldn't handle it.
I'm gonna go with Giovanni's Islands. Like, when I finally got to see it, everyone was telling me how sad it was. So I had like a nice little stack of napkins. And I was like, okay, it's sad. I didn't realize that for literally the last 30 minutes, 45 minutes of that movie, I just was like sobbing and trying to be quiet because we're in a small theater, and I'm just like quietly sobbing in my seat. I'm going through like all of the napkins. Keith Silverstein is next to me. I see he's crying. I'm like, "You want some of my napkins?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take a couple." So, like to the like I was like, I mean, I knew what happened theoretically because I'm in it, and I was like, well, I know that it's gonna get a little happier. And I'm like, no, I'm still sad. I'm still really sad. Still sunny. And then like the credits are rolling. I'm like, I'm still crying. Like my tear ducts hurt. So I was just crying for so long. But yeah, that's the saddest one for sure.
Here's a tissue.
Watch Anohana.
Anohana's great. Anohana's a great show, and Wolf's Rain too.
Oh, that's that show.
Wolf's Rain.
Depressing but good.
I think the most depressing series I've ever watched is any of the Pokemon series with Ash Ketchum. And I'll tell you why. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. I'm a firm believer in that fever dream theory of Pokemon. And if you're not familiar with this, is if you go back and watch the first episode of Pokemon, you'll notice all the Pokemon are a little more animalistic, a little more vicious, a little more wildlife-like. And after Ash Ketchum is struck by lightning, everything's a little happier, a little more anime, a little more cartoonish. There's a reason he never woke up from that coma. Never woke up from his coma. Pikachu became this bubbly, friendly little sidekick character instead of a wild rodent who wanted to, let's be honest, hurt him a lot. These wild Pokemon stopped trying to kill him. They were happy, fun-time adventures with friends. And he got all the starter Pokemon, but really he's in a hospital bed. He's never going to wake up.
And this is how our Sunday is coming out.
This is the story of a young boy. Oh, he never ages, by the way. This is the story of a young boy.
This is a terrifying
living out his
accurate
life in his
description of what
mind because he can no longer do so.
It's okay, Carrie. Face the
broken
truth.
body.
Face the truth.
Pikachu also died that day.
Hey, Matt, you church?
Okay. Stop with that. Actually, funny about what you were saying earlier, one of the more bleak and soul-crushing gaming experiences I had, I love the game to death for that, is also Shadow of the Colossus. Because as you progress, you're killing these giant, beautiful monstrosities that are just wandering about their own business at the behest of these strange, formless entities that are telling you, promising you they'll bring your love back to life. And each one you heroically climb and slay as it falls to the ground, the music changes, and you're like, I may have just killed needlessly a beautiful beast that was wandering, and that just gets progressively more and more, what am I doing? And you start questioning really the reason you're doing this. And then something happens towards the end of the game that just breaks you. And oh yeah, that game, beautiful, beautiful piece of art, but no man, it did tear me apart.
That game was so
You like to
damaging.
play a lot of that game's so nice. I feel like there's themes going on, damage mutilation, horrible, existential crisis.
Happy fun time.
What's happening?
You realize we're changing your
A
back.
lot about you all.
Like George.
Tang, the Pokemon killer. That's what.
I made the biggest mistake in the world of watching this show on Hulu. I just decided to. So the show called Tokyo Magnitude 8.0. And I was like, oh, 13 episodes. And I'm reading some of the bio of the show. I was like, oh, gee, how sad could this be? I mean, earthquakes, and I was going to be sad, but I'm watching it, and I'm like... How sad could it be? It's earthquakes.
Well, let me tell you some stories.
Yeah, no, but I've seen some that were like... I've seen some that were like strangely funny. I don't know why, but like, this is...
Oh my God!
You've seen funnier stuff. So this show, this is my reaction to the show. From the first episode to the next episode. I'm like, yeah? No, don't lie, no, Lost it. I had to go through boxes of Kleenexes because like there's death, destruction, there's like missing people, and it's just, you grow with these two kids who start as being annoying, and then you grow with them, and then it's like, I'm not even going to spoil it, but somebody dies. The annoying characters died.
Yeah, somebody dies.
Someone dies.
Totally false advertising. I'm really sorry. That show is very sad about people dying in an earthquake.
It's sad. No, it makes me even sadder because there's two kids, the main characters are two little kids, they start off so annoying. And then like they just start to grow on you and they become less annoying. And then they die.
You just realize they're
yeah,
human.
it's sad. I died. I lost my lives.
So you're the one who died in the show.
I don't watch these shows.
You watch that show.
Like
Pokemon?
Like Pokemon?
Yeah, you should hold on to that.
Into the deep existential crisis, that's Adventure Time while we're at it, man.
Okay, so
But here's the thing, I love those kind of games and stuff that can evoke such an emotional reaction out of you. And I love going on, like after I played To the Moon or The Last of Us in the first 3 minutes, I wanted to share that misery almost. Like I got Sarah, I was just like, hey Sarah, play the first 10 minutes of Last of Us, that's all you gotta do. Just do that for me, please.
That's what he did to me. He was like, here, play this. And I was like, no, I'm watching it. You play it. And I was like, no, you. He was like, no, you play it. And I kept being like, no, I don't want to play this anymore. And I kept trying to give it back to me, give it back to me. And then in the end, she died. I was like, she died? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that to me? I got so mad. I threw it down my leg. I thought it was so mean. I mean, not the actual thing. I just thought the situation was hilarious in those first 20 minutes of Last of Us because that game opens again, and you see that kid on the couch, and I'm just like, they're gonna make this hurt, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was already like, this, and that's hilarious to you? I just thought I called it because I called it.
Whose question was this?
And I also spent.
You did this.
I also spent the first 5 minutes that they give you control finally, walking around going, what is wrong with you?
Don't blame your friends on this one. No.
I spent the first 5 minutes also, because that's also what was funny to me. Once they give you control of the girl, I was walking around, it's like, Dad, Troy Baker, where are you? Troy, I don't like this.
What, her name? What was the character's name?
Oh yeah, Sarah.
Gary, just really quick.
Yeah.
Really quick. Do you know the real reason why all the Officer Jennys and Nurse Joy look alike?
Casey, you're an evil person. I love it.
It's because the only nurse and officer he ever met looked like that, and he doesn't know what anyone else looks like.
She just sounds
Because he's in a coma.
Okay.
brand recognition, stop it.
No, wait. I got a counter for that. There's a very
Next question.
I'm hoping this next question is the happy one. But here's the answer. The reason why they all look alike. Think about it. Never mind. All right. I think it's funny. I can get away with a joke. Right? No. All right, so quick, your happy question, right? Please, for God's sake. That's my Pokemon. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Do you remember the first game you ever played?
Yes. I'm actually not sure if that's the right happy question, but okay.
Super Nintendo, Super Mario World.
That was like Pitfall. I vaguely remember some like Simpsons game where like you played as
Bart, and then he skateboarded around.
Oh, the arcade game.
No, not the
No?
arcade game. It was like a
Bart's Nightmare.
console game. Maybe.
Bart's Nightmare, I think.
Maybe.
I thought that was-
Yeah, I was like 6 when I played this.
Oh, Bart's Nightmare was available.
I was,
It was one of
I was
them.
in China. I was like a 3-year-old kid in China playing a knockoff Nintendo system. I don't even remember what it was called. It was like a Nintendo. I don't know. It was. I was playing some really crappy like tank game, and it was one of my first memories of video games. And I'm like, oh man, I hope they have the system in America. Whee! It's so
I
good.
remember that tank game.
It was like, what was it called? It was like like you have a tank and you have to
Virtual
shoot
on.
little walls,
Yeah,
and there's like a computer tank.
Yeah. And it was kind of like,
Yeah.
like in a movie, kind of slow. I remember that game.
It was a good game. I like it. No, it wasn't Space Invaders. It was like it was. You control a little tank that you could like turn this way, that way, that way.
Well,
and
like
you-
only on the like axis.
Yeah. They included it in the new Saints Row game as a mini game if you played that. It's like they were taking all the retro games they could find and just turning them into weird mini games. But was it BattleTech? I was playing knockout Chinese BattleTech.
I remember, like we had the super old computer where the screen was black and all the font was like green or something, or like orange depending on which version you had, like super old Macintosh or something. And there was only 2 games, and the first games I remember playing were on that thing because we only had 2. We had Sleuth, which was a little murder mystery game where you could input all your, you could put any games you wanted to make the suspect list, so I put all my friends in. And it always started, it was a dark and stormy night, a murder has been committed, and you would walk around Once the house. again, on theme. Once again, on. I was solving and she uses strange names. Yes. I was solving the mystery. I didn't make up names for people she knew. I was the game where she could then kill them. No! Age what?
No!
Age what? Age what? Like 4? No, you were there to bring the murderer to justice. And it was really rudimentary and simple because all you had to do was find the one person who.
Rudimentary because you couldn't kill them yourself.
No, damn it! It was really easy because you just asked everyone where they were, and there would always be one person who would say, "Oh, I would do this person," and then the person who they were with would say, like, "No, I was alone," and then you're like, "That's the murderer." So then in the end, you'd be like, "I know the murderer, yay!" And it was really. And the other one was this dungeon crawler called Hack. No relation to the dot hack, but like it was fun. Everything was text because no graphics. It was all text. So the whole layout of the dungeons was keyboard strokes. Like, you know, the dashes were what you ran across. Your character was literally the @ symbol moving around. Like kobolds were capital Ks, and you just walk up and press the button against them to hit. And there was like, and you had to get down to the bottom and get the secret super thing to get out. And like half the time I would spend finding shopkeepers and figuring out how I could steal all their stuff and get out without them noticing. Like if you were really lucky and you found the potion guy, you'd find the potion of invisibility, steal all the potions and walk out before he could find you. But it was utterly terrifying because once you became uninvisible, he'd follow you. He'd follow you throughout the dungeon, and it would just be this very friendly, "Excuse me, you still need to pay me." And it's just like, God, no, go away. Stop following me. I'm sorry, you still need to pay me. With what? He was very hard to kill, too, actually. That's why I was like, it's better to sneak away.
My first video games or games I recall first one is the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Where I would sneak into the computer lab in my elementary school, like, I'm gonna play this game. No one else knows what it is. And then I look behind me and I'll play with the computer. And then Aladdin, which was on, I think, the S.
Number Muncher.
That was fun too. The Aladdin game, which I think you just bought and I need to play it.
I did not the Aladdin.
You buy it.
Yes,
You play it.
You need to play it.
It's
I love
correct.
it so much.
I remember because it was my cousins in New York, and every time we would visit, this was my first exposure to video games that I can remember. On the NES, it was the Super Mario Brothers. It was this like Olympic track running game where you just had to mash buttons and duck hunt. No, I used the controller. I know, my cousin didn't have the pad. Yeah, it was, but I did have the gun for duck hunt, which was awesome because that was a really fun game. But I hate that dog. that dog.
I want to learn to play the dog in Smash just so I can make everyone mad.
My first game was Pokemon Blue. I played it on my cousin's file, like saved right over.
My game was totally Home Alone for Super Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of memories. And then I continued playing games out of sheer frustration.
So panelists, I'm just warning you, we have like less than 5 minutes left. There are 7 questions out there, but I'm gonna have to cut it short because, you know,
Rapid
we're
fire.
gonna change over things and all this and that. But I'm pretty sure you guys are here for most of the rest of the day, right? You got the autograph sessions and, you know, so any last thoughts, last words, last other things? Go for it.
Someone give me a Baymax ribbon.
Baymax.
Really, really, really badly. I only discovered it existed last night and I need
Oh
it.
wait.
And, like,
Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh! Yeah.
All right.
I want
please.
two. I want a Baymax one too.
Now that everybody wants, did you bring enough for everyone?
Of that one. Well, we can think about this. Anything last words, last thoughts, last business? Thank you guys for playing the games. Like, thank you guys for Thank you all very much.
Also, I want to take a picture with that Senkets in the back.
Yeah.
Senkets, see, we got a postcard we're going to sign for you and stuff, so take a picture with us. It's like an actual, like,
I know, I saw
meme
that.
outside. Yeah, it's awesome.
Also, join World of Warcraft and join our guild.
Also, this
We're the Rescue Rangers.
Yeah,
Come on.
I've never been on it.
Join the Rescue Rangers of Zulu Ed.
I hate you. Thanks,
So
thanks for coming out. Sorry, okay. Thanks for coming out, guys. We're not crazy.
We're all crazy at this
We're
point.
not crazy. I feel
Okay, so I'm
sad.
gonna give up right now. They're gonna argue it's now